Have you ever wondered whether the money laundering scams in movies are real or not? What if these scams happen in real life? How many of these are true? Well, in today's video, we are going to see what a retired FBI economic crimes investigator thinks about it. Also, we will discuss how they rate 8 money laundering scams in movies and TV. Continue watching as this is going to be an exciting one. Jerri Williams, a retired FBI agent, shares her thoughts about the money laundering scams in movies. She is also the author of the book FBI Myths and Misconceptions, a manual for armchair detectives. As a special agent with the FBI, she has 26 years of experience investigating financial fraud and economic crime. But before you learn about money laundering scams in movies, pay attention to the big red subscription button. As soon as you click it, you will be taken to the wealthy side, the life you deserve, where you'll find hundreds of videos. These videos contain the answers to almost any question you may have. There are also daily updates, so if you want to stay tuned, remember to turn on notifications. Number 8. Mickey Blue Eyes, 1999. Well, this clip is humorous, and the art is subjective, so it can be difficult for authorities to determine its value. Unlike other businesses, art dealers don't have to fill out a CTR, currency transaction report, to let the IRS know about a transaction. At auctions like this, it is uncommon for money laundering to take place. Each piece of art has a provenance that includes information about the artist, its past sale prices, and its value. This creates a clear record of the art's worth. In the case of a single purchaser, there is a suspicion that this is suspicious activity. A painting of that quality selling for this price is suspicious to someone at that level. Jerri commented that he is involved in that conspiracy, and I would advise him to confess to the FBI if I had the opportunity to do so. This is the point where he needs to be honest with the authorities, and she gives it a rating of 7 to 8 as she thinks they have shown many things right about using the art for the sake of money laundering. Number 7. American Made, 2017. You know the drill. Everybody gets a burned bag. Into it, you put anything with Barry Seal's face or name on it. This is the kind of movie that most of us enjoy. Well, some FBI agents would rather suffer a painful injury than have to go through physical documents and papers. Nowadays, much of this information is likely to be online, which makes it easier to destroy evidence. It's probably harder to destroy boxes and boxes of paper like this. This is a situation that is probably faced by many FBI agents, because during the searches, we identify ourselves and instruct people to stop what they are doing. This specific case occurred before the late 1980s. Cases like these used to happen, but not anymore. Now there's something called HIDTA, high-intensity drug trafficking areas, that helps prevent different agencies from working on the same case at the same time. No one wants law enforcement officers or agents to get hurt because of friendly fire. Jerri gives this movie a score of 5. That's because of the last half, which is not very realistic. All of the law enforcement agencies converge at the same time. Number 6. The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, 2011. People often associate money laundering with transferring funds from an account that someone doesn't own into their account. However, this is identity fraud, wire fraud, or embezzlement, not money laundering. Due to advances in technology, such as digital fingerprinting and facial recognition, it is becoming more difficult to successfully commit identity fraud using disguises. However, for her to get away with this, her passport and other forms of identification must be able to be verified. This is now considered money laundering because she has taken the funds and disguised them by transferring them into bonds, concealing their origin in the banking system. Well, Jerri says that these are counterfeit bonds that are counterfeit to a Swiss banker. The bonds must have the proper weight, stamps, and official markings that are normally associated with them. It is a criminal act for a banker to not verify the identity of the person trying to deposit the bonds or to accept the funds if they believe they were obtained through criminal activity. Swiss bank secrecy only applies to funds that have been legitimately deposited. Otherwise, Swiss banks operate just like any other bank and want to know who their customers are. And she gave this movie 10 out of 10. Number 5. The Wolf of Wall Street, 2013. It's hard to imagine someone thinking they can get through airport security with a large amount of money strapped all over their body. Before the TSA started taking security more seriously in the US, someone carrying a large amount of money on their person would likely have been caught. These days, you have to go through a body scanner and have all your carry-on luggage checked. The woman and her family are known as money mules. These are people who get paid to transfer illegal sums of money. Money mules can also be paid to open bank accounts and make deposits and transfers in their name for the criminal. It's pretty common for a criminal to ask a family member or friend to do this, but they could also just pay a stranger. One thing that is bothering about this scene is that it is based on a case involving investment fraud, where the money was already in the banking system. It's not clear where all this cash is coming from since it was not a cash-based business. The scene looks very much like a comedy scene and doesn't fit with the rest of the movie, which has some good parts. Even though the movie is based on an actual case, the scenes are not good at all, and that's why she gives it a rating of just 1 or 2. Number 4. Scarface, 1983. She commented that this is when the illegal money gets cleaned or laundered by running it through a legit-looking business, like a real estate company. I've heard of lots of businesses that are just fronts for criminal activity, and it's kind of funny how many of them use the names of their spouses or kids. It's all good until the feds come and take it away. Before making an arrest, make sure to let your undercover agent or informant leave the area. There is no need to rush. You have already gathered all the necessary evidence, such as video footage and knowledge of the transaction and location of the money. The officer mentions RICO, which stands for the Racketeer Influenced and Corrupt Organizations Act. It is typically used when investigating a large organization. Do you see the eye on the clock? She thinks that they can do a better job there. There must be a camera being poked out of that clock. The agents often use audio equipment, like beepers or phones, to secretly record conversations with cooperating witnesses or undercover agents. Lamps are also a good choice for hidden cameras because they are at the right height and can be very effective. She rates this movie scam around 7 or 8 because it is kind of real, particularly for exchanging funds. A quick reminder, if you've enjoyed the video so far, consider subscribing, as we frequently upload such informative and educational videos. Let's continue. Number 3. Breaking Bad S5E8, 2012. In the world of drug dealing, money is handled frequently, and this can cause bills to become worn and weighed differently than when they were new. As a result, it is not possible to accurately define the amount of money present simply by weighing it. It's pretty common, and you might have heard that drug dealers and criminals sometimes stash their money in hidden locations, only to return later and find that it has been eaten by animals or insects or harmed by water or rotted. According to Jerri, this one was also based on reality. That's why she gives this 10 out of 10, as you have to have several businesses to make use of that money, as storing it is difficult. Number 2. Narcos, 2015 to 2017. Well, this is another kind of money laundering. If nobody is trying to figure out how much those gems or diamonds or whatever are worth, when you trade them for cash to make your illegal funds seem legit, it'll look like a legal transaction on paper. Jerri thinks that this is realistic as it represents the situation truly. In South America, drug dealers got so rich that they had to bury their money. There are rumors that the money is still buried somewhere, and people are trying to find it for a very long time. She commented on this movie because she was also involved in an investigation similar to this scam. In that case, all of the money was hidden in the floorboard of the van. It feels enticing to find out thousands of dollars, but it is hectic when you have to count all of them. Jerri rates this movie clip 10 out of 10 because it was pretty realistic. As per her knowledge, no one has hidden as much cash as the legendary Escobar. Number 1. Ozark S1E4, 2017. Clip. For this scam, Jerri believes that his understanding of money laundering is partially accurate, but there are some errors in his perspective. While you are allowed to spend whatever money you have, however, the Internal Revenue Service, IRS, wants to know how you got this money. They also want to ensure that they receive their share of taxes on their income. So what happens is if an individual with criminal intent attempts to purchase a property using illegally obtained funds, The transaction will be reported to the IRS. This is known as Form 8300. And if the activity is suspicious, it will also be reported to FinCEN. Well, there's no need to go through the trouble of washing the money. However, if a criminal is trying to pass off their illegally obtained cash as legitimate business income, they may want to make the brand new bills appear well worn. This is something that most people are unaware of. According to her, this clip is very much real because businesses such as strip clubs, casinos, restaurants, and bars, anywhere that deals in cash transactions, are ideal for money laundering to take place. When your money has been successfully deposited into the banking system, your job is complete. You don't have to take any further steps because the money is now going to be considered clean and legitimate. In this clip, one thing that he doesn't talk about is the fact that if you deposit that money, if it's more than $10,000, then you will have to fill out the currency transaction report, also known as CTR. Yes, you guessed it right because you have to mention everything including where you got that money. Jerri Williams rates this clip 7 out of 10 as she believes they generally portrayed many things accurately about the basics of money laundering. Let us know your thoughts on these money laundering scams in movies and TV. We'd love to hear from you. Did you enjoy the video? Please hit the subscribe button, like, share, and comment.